A simulation is essentially a classroom-based experience which allows an individual to go on a journey, an experience which takes them from where they are today to where they need to be in the future. It allows people to pass through various stages of maturity, but in a classroom environment where there is a low risk, where they can see the immediate business benefit of taking that kind of a route, whether it's from a new process point of view, new technology, or even whether it's about cultural change. So a business simulation is an experience where you are a participant and you're allowed to effectively play a role that allows you to learn what is going on. A simulation is really a simplistic yet realistic interpretation of your business. The beauty of G2G3 simulations is their flexibility. Typically they're played over a number of rounds. We follow a learning cycle after David Kolb, a professor from Harvard in the 80s, where we explore how people learn from experience. By putting them in a situation which they're then allowed to review and come up with solutions for, they're able to move forward over a number of cycles. Because we cover a number of cycles, it means that you can play 1 through to 5 rounds of simulation, which allows you to be phenomenally flexible from a time point of view. So you could run an hour-and-a-half session, or you could run a whole day session. It really does depend on your objectives, and that's a key part. The other thing to mention about flexibility is that the objectives for a simulation can be highly adaptable. It doesn't have to be just about ITIL. It could be just focused on the need for cultural change. It could be about introducing the concept of technology and how it supports your business moving forward, or it could be introduction of new process, whether it's best practice or an organisation's own processes. So in essence, a simulation is a classroom experience where between, say, 12 and 16 people have roles to play within an organisation. One of the things about G2G3 simulations that makes them particularly strong is that we always focus on the business bottom line. We're always trying to demonstrate the benefit of implementing a best practice process or using technology to accelerate maturity by showing people what the bottom line effect is. And that's a fantastic opportunity for people to buy into the reasons why you'd want to make a change happen. The key thing, I guess, from the point of view of simulation is, as I've mentioned previously, they're very simple, yet they're realistic. And over a series of rounds, people get to really experience the journey that they'll go on. People will be sat with different jobs to do within that business, whether they're business-facing, i.e. the customer, the most important person in the room, or whether they're on a service desk or IT operations, or indeed whether they're in management, either the director of a business or service delivery managers. These people all have to play their part in ensuring that the business drives its revenues up, increases its profit margin, and effectively executes its business in a far more effective and efficient way. So simulations, as I've mentioned, are highly flexible. Our simulations are used globally by many different types of business, either directly in terms of business transformation or in terms of helping organisations to sell the vision of what they do. So for example, and I guess the first starting point is in cultural change, transformation type programs. Simulations are highly effective at helping convince people to move the way they are at the minute, to adopt new practices and behaviours to drive forwards towards a business result. The reason they're so effective at this is because they allow people to make decisions for themselves. You're not telling someone what they have to do, you're putting them in a situation where they have got to decide for themselves and make decisions which you hope will be the decisions they then make back in the workplace. i.e., how can I better align my activity with the business? What can I do differently that will help my colleagues in other areas to deliver what they need to do? Am I giving people the right information so that they can do their jobs? So a whole range of things that will help individuals to make their own mind up. And what's more powerful, me telling you to do something or me asking you how you would do it differently? And that's effectively why they're so powerful. They're also used extensively by our partners in the education space. Many thousands of ITIL foundation courses are delivered every year with simulations embedded in them. The reason that they're so successful in this environment is because they really help people to buy into and understand the concepts that they're being given. They take what effectively can be a very dry subject and make it really interesting, and also help people to link back the learning that they're getting to their business. The third area that is really key from the use of simulations is the implementation of new processes or new tool sets. So often these transformation programs fail because the individuals don't really understand what's required of them. They don't buy into the overall program. Very often the education aspect of these programs, the communication aspect of these programs is driven by more of a tick box mentality than a real desire to want to make a difference. Simulations help people to buy into your message and help drive the changes that you require forward. They take what is a tool and bring it alive in the context of their business, so people can actually see that tool as a means to an end and not an end in itself, which is very often the way that they're positioned. The final way that our simulations are used highly effectively is with vendor organisations. We license to a great number of the top software vendors in the world, and there's no surprise that they've chosen us to partner with them, because what we do is, through our simulations, is bring their proposition to life. We help those organisations to get across their message, not just to their customers, but also, and in many cases more importantly, to their own salespeople and their marketing people. They help them to understand what it is that they're trying to put forward to their customers. So they're highly effective at getting people to understand complex messages and help them buy in and be convinced of the reasons why they would want to adopt that particular approach.